welcome to a very special face-to-face. Today we are in Germany, in Schlamau, in the Park of Study Reflection, and we are with Oto, who has spent 3 years at working with the youth coming from Central America at the border in Texas. So welcome, Oto.
Thank you so
How
much
are you
for
doing?
having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. So we just wanted to talk to you and having your share your experience about your work for 3 years, yeah, in with the youth coming from Central America, and so tell us a little bit more. What are
Yeah,
the kids?
definitely. Yeah, I worked for about 3 years, more
Okay.
or less 2 years and a half in Harlingen, Texas,
Yeah.
in the Rio Grande Valley, all the way south, as far south as you can go in the Texas map, in an organization that provides legal assistance for
Okay.
detained immigrant children.
Uh-huh.
The biggest majority of these children were from northern Central America, the so-called Northern Triangle, Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, and they were from a span of different ages, from all the way from like 5 or 4-year-olds to 17-year-olds with just a few days before completing 18. We also worked with girls, boys, girls who were pregnant, girls who gave birth, with children who were parents as well.
And how old was the kid?
The whole span.
5-15, and they were
worked
already
with-
pregnant and-
We had clients who were newborns.
Okay.
And we had clients who were just a few days from becoming adults.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so tell us a little bit more about the youth themselves. Why are they coming? You were there more or less at the peak of the crisis in the U.S. when it was thousands of them coming, or what?
Exactly, yeah. In my personal experience, why I learned from meeting them
Yeah.
is that they're coming because of a state of chaos
Okay.
and insecurity in Central America.
Okay.
Especially the urban youth are running away from gang recruitment, from rape threats, extortion threats, and whenever their very limited and fragile base of support in their country is threatened by the state of insecurity or these criminal organizations, sometimes the whole family or just the most vulnerable of the family, which are the children, have to come north.
Okay. And so let's say they arrived at the border by magical process, because I'm sure it's very complicated for them to get there.
Definitely, yeah.
And they survive the process, the trip, the journey. What's happening for them?
Once they arrive at the border, I mean, the whole trip from Mexico is very, very tiresome, very exhausting, and very dangerous. Many are smuggled by coyotes, by human smugglers, others by criminal organizations. Often they're both together. A few kids I have met actually made the trip on their own. They were rough enough to do it. Once they arrive at the border, you have pretty much 2 different pathways. One pathway is they might hire someone to cross them over the river, and then surrender themselves to U.S. authorities, often Border Patrol, the people in green.
Yeah.
In that pathway, sometimes they might say, "No, I don't want to surrender. I'm going to go as far as I can," and
Okay.
that's a very dangerous route because they might have to hike for days in the desert, with little
yeah.
water. The other route is, and we especially see that with newborns and tiny kids, is to surrender themselves at the bridge, at the port of entry, to the
Okay.
people in blue, CBP, Customs and Border Patrol.
Okay.
And whenever these kids are captured, apprehended by U.S. immigration authorities, they will all, independently of the route, they will all come to an immigration detention center,
Okay.
or also called a shelter.
Yeah.
In those shelters are run by the Office of Refugee Resettlement
Okay.
of the Department of Human and Health Services.
Yeah. And then that's when you click in, no?
Exactly.
Yeah.
There are a number of organizations in the U.S. that are being hired to provide legal aid services and legal education services mostly in those centers. The organization where I worked for also was part of this contract.
Okay.
I just want to mention
Sure.
a little
Yeah, yeah.
disclaimer that I'm not talking officially in name of any organization.
Exactly.
But yeah,
Yeah,
that's
of
my
course.
personal experience.
No.
And in the whole U.S., currently there are 8,000 beds, about 8,000 beds of detention for this population.
Okay.
In the Rio Grande Valley, there are 2,000, so about what 25%
25%
of
over
the
there.
whole system.
And then, so when so you work, what is your work? So when they arrived, they are in the shelter, and then you are the legal representative for them.
No,
No.
Unfortunately not,
Yeah.
because
Okay.
my organization at the time
Uh-huh.
had very few staff, and in per year, in average, we would serve in a way or the other about 10,000 kids.
Okay.
So once the kid arrives, the kid has to be medically clear. They get all the vaccinations they need, even if they had that before. 3 days later, after their arrival, about 3 days, a representative from the organization where I worked would come and meet them,
Okay.
usually in a group setting, and we would do what is called an Know Your Rights presentation.
Okay.
1.5 to 2 hours presentation in which we are explaining to them their legal situation, that they're in the deportation proceeding, that they have to see a judge, and if they don't find an attorney, they're on their own. They need to find an attorney, and there is no attorney guaranteed for them at the moment.
So you mentioned, and because we are here in Germany, and then the Germans are doing are providing legal.
Exactly. I think for many advocates,
Yeah.
The biggest critique is that it's the immigration legal process is something super hard to navigate. Immigration law is as
It's very
complicated as
complicated, yeah.
tax law in the
Yeah.
U.S. It's surreal to think that a child or a child with their family who might be illiterate in English will be able to navigate that process successfully. Here in Germany, refugees are entitled to legal assistance that's paid by the state,
Okay.
and that, I believe, should be the way in the US.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
my personal opinion.
Yeah. And you were mentioning to me then you were very frustrated with the process. So what was your frustration? What was complicated a little bit with you see the kid for 5 days and after that you don't know where they're going and
Exactly. Unfortunately, and that's, I think, is a picture of most of the country. These legal aid organizations had very few resources and staff to provide a thorough assistance
Uh-huh.
throughout the process. We would just see kids, these UACs, unaccompanied alien children, just for a few hours in average, give them a rights presentation, hopefully meet them for a legal screening, and understand their, in half an hour or in 1 hour why they came to the US. And in that very brief period, we would need to build a report with kids who have suffered horrendous situations, which often was not the case. They didn't trust us to talk about it. And once they had a chance to leave detention and go with a relative or a sponsor who has been cleared by the sponsorship process by the Office of Refugee Resettlement, they often disappeared from the map.
yeah.
There was no guarantee that they would enroll in school. There was no guarantee that they would have access to health. They didn't have
And you
access
say
to
some of them
Medicaid.
are working in places?
Yeah, it's very sad as an advocate, as someone who is passionate about this population, to hear in the news situations of human trafficking and, for example, earlier in this year, a farm in Ohio was found
Yeah.
to have a number of Guatemalan, Salvadoran teenagers working in very deplorable conditions. And the LA Times last year, the end of last year, reported on a number of UACs living in the streets
Yeah.
in LA, and it's just really sad. I think the fact that we structurally are abandoning these children is creating a generation with really sad and really deplorable experiences.
And it's a problem with the community they go to because people are making complaint and so on and so forth. I'm sure about, if you see too many people in the street and so on and so forth, it gets complicated. So it doesn't help the process.
I think definitely there can be the potential for xenophobic rhetoric about it.
Yeah.
I don't know if people have made the connection yet,
Uh-huh.
but I think it's possible in the future as more and more kids might come and less services are available for them. But I can definitely say that the rhetoric between between providing these first moment services for these children, there is already some negative rhetoric about it. For example, 2015,
Yeah.
I think there was a protest in Murrieta,
Yeah.
California, against a bus of
Yeah.
mothers and children
Yeah,
who,
I
from
remember.
Central America.
Yeah, and
It was such a sad
stopped. He
moment.
was stopped in on the road. No, he was by the
Exactly.
protester. Yeah.
You had like such angry mostly white people, chanting against a number of mothers and babies and small children. What have we come to?
What recommendation? What do you see could help in this process? What will be a few recommendations you could?
I think there are already some localized initiatives of providing legal assistance unconditionally to these children. For example, in New York, there is a consortium of universities who are providing legal assistance to children who are going to court just in New York, just in Manhattan. I wish that would happen in all jurisdictions.
All over, yeah.
And I wish also immigration judges would read more and inform themselves more about the conditions in Central America, and that hopefully the asylum, the different immigration processes wouldn't be as adversarial for children.
Does the TPS could help? I mean, if it was something like a TPS, like a temporary protected status.
Some Central American governments are talking about it. I particularly don't like TPS.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of just a quick fix
because
it provides no path for citizenship. It provides no security, long-term security. If you're on TPS, but for example, have a quick encounter with the law, you might lose and be deported. I think if we really want to receive these children with open arms, we need to provide them with a path for citizenship like most legal migrants in the U.S.
Okay, what's going to happen to you now? Where you're gonna study, keep studying?
Yeah, I am very interested in this topic. I'm about to join a PhD program in the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, in social work and anthropology, and I hope to delve into these issues.
Wow, great. Thank you so much, Oto.
You're
It was
welcome.
a pleasure. That was Face to Face. And please keep following us on Facebook and YouTube, and check your news on presenza.com. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching.